Okay, welcome in one and all. I'm a little behind on my hockey reviews. I'll be reviewing Saturdays, Sundays, and most likely Monday's action as well in three different videos. So starting with the Saturday, which had the busiest schedule of the three, we had 13 games in action, therefore 26 teams were duking it out for 2 points. Starting with the teams you see on your screen, as the Dallas Stars would head into Montreal to take on the Montreal Canadiens. There was no scoring in the first period, so we have to jump ahead to the second, where Nick Suzuki would kick things off for the Habs, getting his 16th of the season, assisted by Cole Caulfield and Mike Matheson. And that was just 38 seconds into the opening frame. 3 minutes and 51 seconds, Harley would tie the game up, getting his 13th of the year from Hintz and Robertson. Sagan would score with less than 20 seconds after that, so just over 20 seconds after that, giving these Stars a 2-1 lead, his 18th of the season from Duchesne and Marchment. Sagan would then double up his goals to 2 in the evening. His second of the game, his 19th of the year from Duchesne and Marchment, and that goal happened 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the frame, giving the Stars a 3-1 lead. Slavkovsky would cut the deficit to 3-2, getting his 10th of the year from Suzuki and Matheson, and that goal happened with 1 minute 23 seconds to go in the second period. So all the scoring happened in the second. There was no scoring in the first or the third, so 3-2 would be the final score from this one. So with the victory, the Stars improved to 32-14-6, still atop of that Central Division, while the Montreal Canadiens, obviously the playoffs are out of the question, with a record, after the loss, they have a record of 21-22-8. All right, so the next matchup from Saturday took place in Buffalo, where we had the Sabres, and they played host to the St. Louis Blues. Okay, so I should have the teams on the screen as we speak. There, just a little bit straighter. So in the first period, Neighbors would kick things off for the Blues with a power play goal, 7 minutes and 7 seconds to go in that frame, his 16th of the year, assisted by Bushnevich and Rob Thomas. In the second period, Kyrou would... Oh, hold on a second. One. Okay, that's very strange. So in the second, Kyrou would get his 15th of the year from Pareko and Rosen, 4 minutes and 32 seconds into that frame, but it's telling me it's 2-1. It's not even showing me the goal by the Buffalo Sabres. Very odd. In the third period, Neighbors would get his second goal of the game, his 17th of the year from Shannon Kapanen, and that goal happened with 1 minute and 57 seconds to go in the period. That's so strange. So the final score would be 3-1 in favor of St. Louis. So with the victory, the Blues are 27-21-2, and with the loss, the Buffalo Sabres are 22-25-4. All right. The next matchup took place in Detroit, where we had the Red Wings, and they played host to the Vancouver Canucks. Okay. So let's take a look at the the scoring summary from this game. So in the first, Raymond would kick things off just 45 seconds into that opening frame, getting his 14th of the season from Perreault and Petrie. In the second period, Höglander would tie the game up 1 minute 9 seconds into that period, his 15th of the season from Hronek and Pettersson. Hronek would then get his fourth goal of the year from Mikheyev and Pettersson with 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, and then Elias Pettersson would increase the lead to 3-1 with 6 minutes and 33 seconds to go, his 28th of the year from Sutter and Hronek. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 3-1 in favor of the Canucks. Mount the comeback. Sprong would cut the deficit to 3-2, 2 minutes and 34 seconds into that third period. His 14th of the year from Patrick Kane and Bellino. And then Rasmussen would tie the game up 7 minutes and 51 seconds into that frame, his 11th of the year from Wallman and Fisher. The game would need overtime to decide a winner, and just 23 seconds into that frame, Wallman would get the game-winning goal as the Red Wings blew they were trailing 3-1 at that one point. And then they came back and won 4-3 in overtime. So with the victory, the Red Wings are 27-18-6, still sitting in a wild card position. And despite the loss, the Canucks are 34-15-6. They are still atop of that Pacific Division. All right. The next matchup took place on Long Island, where we had the Islanders, and they played host to the Calgary Flames. Okay. So let's take a look and see how this unfolded. So coming into this matchup, both these teams are currently sitting on the outside, looking in when it comes to the postseason. So a very critical game pretty much every game for both these teams is going to be critical from here on out to decide whether they're in or out of the 2024 playoffs. So Mackenzie Weegar would kick things off in the first, 3 minutes and 47 seconds into that frame, getting his 13th of the season, assisted by Jacob Markstrom and Blake Coleman. After 20 minutes of play, it was 1-0 in favor of the Flames. In the second, Huberdeau would notch his 8th of the season, a power play goal from Sharon Govich and Noah Hannafin, 8 minutes and 38 seconds into that frame. And then Weegar would score with just under 5 minutes remaining in that period, his second of the game, his 14th of the year from Dewar and Peltier. In this third period, Brock Nelson would finally get the Islanders on the board with 4 minutes exactly on the clock, his 22nd of the year from Dobson and Palmieri. Blake Coleman would get a empty net goal, his 21st of the season, with 4 minutes remaining in the period. I thought it was very early for the Islanders to pull their goalie, considering there's still over 4 minutes remaining on the clock. Pajot would cut the deficit to 4-2, with the Islanders still have the net pulled, the goalie pulled, his 7th of the season from Barzal. And then Mackenzie Weegar would add a second empty net goal, getting a hat trick, his first hat trick in the National Hockey League, his 15th of the year from Huberdeau and Nazem Kadri. So 5-2 would be the final score in favor of the Flames. So with the victory, they're 25, 22, and 5. And with the loss, the Islanders are 22, 18, and 12. All right. The next matchup took place in Boston. We had the Bruins playing host to the Washington Capitals. Okay. Let's see how this one unfolds. So there's no scoring in the first. If you jump ahead to the second period, where TJ Oshie would kick things off for the Washington Capitals. Power play goal is 9th of the year from Pacioretty and McMichael. In the third, Dylan Strome would increase the lead to 2-0, 3 minutes and 24 seconds into that frame, recording his 20th of the season from Ovechkin and TJ Oshie. Speaking of Ovechkin, he would get his 12th goal of the season, assisted by Malmstein with just 27 seconds to go, an empty net goal to give the Capitals a 3-0 lead, and that would be the final score in this one. So with the victory, the Capitals are 23, 19, and 8, still push for playoff spot. And despite the loss, the Bruins are 32, 11, and 9. They're still sitting quite comfortably in first place in the Atlantic Division. All right, Colorado and Florida is the next matchup we will be reviewing. Okay, let's take a look and see how this game unfolded. So in the first, Verhaeghe would kick things off with a power play goal over halfway through that frame, 9 minutes and 41 seconds to be exact, his 26th of the season from Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk. Reinhart will get his 39th goal of the season. Man, this guy's pushing for like 50 goals on the year. Power play goal with 3 minutes and 6 seconds to go. 3 minutes and 4 seconds to go, assisted by Tkachuk and Barkov. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 2-0 in favor of the Panthers. In the second period, late in that second frame, with 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go, Louis Strainen would get his 10th of the year from Kulikov and Evan Rodriguez. In the third period, Barkov would increase the lead to 4-0, getting his 12th of the season, 9 minutes and 20 seconds into that frame. So 4-0 would be the final score in favor of the Panthers. So with the victory, they're 33, 15, and 4, still sitting second in that Atlantic Division. And with the loss, the Colorado Avalanche are 32, 17, and 4. They are currently sitting second in the Central Division. So both these teams are playoff bound, in my opinion. All right, the Devils and Hurricanes were duking it out in Raleigh. So I'll get the teams loaded up on the screen, and we'll take a look and see who is the victor from this one. So we'll put it this way. It was a very low-scoring affair. As a matter of fact, just one goal was scored in the entire game, and it would take until overtime to decide a winner. With 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in overtime, Sebastian Aho would get the game-winning goal, his 19th of the season from Nietzsche and Slavin. So 1-0 is the final score in this one. The Hurricanes are 30, 16, and 5, still sitting second in that Metropolitan Division. And with the loss, the Devils are 25, 21, and 4. They're still trying to push for a playoff berth. All right, now we're off to Columbus, where we have the Blue Jackets playing host to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So take a look and see. So Nick Paul would open up the scoring with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go in that frame. The power play goal is 14th of the season from Hagel and Radish. In the second, Cirelli would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his 11th of the season from Hagel and Paul. After 40 minutes of play, it was 2-0 in favor of Tampa Bay. In the third period, Stamkos would increase the lead to 3-0, getting a power play goal of his own, his 22nd of the year from Hedman and Kucherov. Boone Jenner would finally get the Columbus Blue Jackets on the board with 7 minutes and 38 seconds remaining, his 14th of the year from Gaudreau and Werenski. And then with 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining, Boone Jenner would cut the deficit to 3-2. A power play goal was 15th of the year from Gaudreau and Marchenko. Hagel would add a late goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning, an empty netter. It's 19th of the year from Kucherov and Cirelli. So 4-2 would be the final score in favor of the Bolts. So with that, the Lightning are 28, 20, and 5. They're currently sitting third in that Atlantic Division, while the Blue Jackets 16, 25, and 10. No playoffs for you. All right, now we're off to the Battle of Ontario. We had the Leafs, who went into Ottawa to take on the Senators. Now, for what seemed like this, I remember back like in the mid to early 2000s, these two teams could not stand each other. It was always a war whenever these two teams duked it out. And it seems like within the last, 5 or 6 years, that just has not felt the same. It's always felt like it's been one-sided, or it's just been like the Leafs are like, well, whatever. We know we're the better team, and the Senators are still rebuilding or retooling. We're not 100% certain what they're doing, but there would be some late-game theatrics, and I will touch base on that in just a second. So Austin Matthews would kick things off in the first, getting his 42nd goal of the year, assisted by Marner and Matthew Knies. 3 minutes and 45 seconds in that opening frame. Claude Giroux would tie the game up with 2 minutes and 7 seconds to go, his 16th of the year from Matthew Joseph. So after 20 minutes of play, we were all knotted up at 1. In the second, Tarasenko would give the Senators a 2-1 lead, getting his 14th of the year from Pinto and Chechurkin. Matthew Knies would tie the game up roughly halfway through that period, 9 minutes and 43 seconds to be exact, getting his 9th of the year from Marner and Matthews. Shane Pinto would give the Senators a 3-2 lead, with 8 minutes and 47 seconds remaining, his 3rd of the season from Kelly and Zub. Josh Norris would increase the lead to 4-2 with 4 minutes and 47 seconds to go, his 13th of the year from Drake Batherson. So after 40 minutes of play, the Senators had a 4-2 lead heading into the third. In that third period, Max Domi would cut the deficit to 4-3, getting his 5th of the year from Morgan Riley and Nate Robertson. 5 minutes and 12 seconds to go. Late, and I mean very late in that third period, Riley Gregg would get an empty net goal, his 8th of the year from Shane Pinto, giving the Senators a 5-3 lead. And as soon as he did that, what he did was he had a breakaway. And normally when you have a breakaway and you have an empty net, you just kind of tap it into the net. But no, he wanted to put like a little bit of, how do you put it? He wanted to add some bitterness to the he just wanted to spark up the rivalry again. And it's a shame because these two teams will not play the rest of the regular season, because I guarantee if they did, things would get heated. Anyway, more or less, he took a slap shot into an empty net, and then Morgan Riley, the defenseman for the Leafs, took exception to that, and they cross-checked him in the face. And now there's the whole thing about how long is he going to be suspended for or fined, whatever the case may be is. That started a whole, I don't want to say it was like a onslaught, but like obviously that we like when it comes to teams within the same province or the same state, you want to have that fire. And like I said, for the last X amount of years, it just has not been there. So I feel like Riley Gregg was just trying to like bring that back up. And it's just a damn shame these two teams won't be able to play again, because whether the game was played in Toronto or Ottawa, there would have been fireworks. Yeah, there's a little bit of mayhem at the end of that, but didn't really lead to a whole lot. But man, I'm glad that the Battle of Ontario was kind of getting back up there. All right, enough rambling on. Now we're off to Philadelphia, where we had the Kraken, and they were heading in to take on the Flyers. Okay, so we'll take a look and see how this game unfolded. Oh, sorry, I should have also mentioned that with the Leafs and the Ottawa Senators, the Leafs are 26, 16, and 8. They're currently sitting in a wild card spot, and for the Senators, 21, 25, and 2. Again, no postseason action for the Ottawa Senators. So in the first, Scott Laughton would kick things off with a power play goal, getting his 6th of the year from Cam York and Morgan Frost, 4 minutes and 36 seconds into that opening frame. Thomas Tatar would tie the game up with 2 minutes and 51 seconds remaining, his 7th of the season, from Vince Dunn and Adam Larson. Ryan Poehling would get a shorthanded goal for the Philadelphia Flyers late in that frame, a minute and 46 seconds to be exact, his 7th of the year, from Garnet Hathaway and Nick Seeler. In the third period, McCann would tie the game up at 2, getting his 21st of the season from Wenberg and Vince Dunn, just 36 seconds into that frame. Sean Couturier would get the go-ahead goal 5 minutes and 30 seconds into that frame, his 11th of the year, from Sanheim and Konechny, and that would be the game-winning goal as well. So with the victory, the Philadelphia Flyers are 28-19-6, while the Seattle Kraken are 21-20-10. The Kraken are still fighting for a playoff spot, while the Philadelphia Flyers are sitting third in that Metropolitan Division. All right, now we're off to Winnipeg. We have the Jets, and they played host to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay, so let's take a look and see how this game unfolded. So in the first, Scheifele would open up the scoring over halfway through that frame, 9 minutes and 40 seconds to be exact. His 15th of the year, assisted by Nick Ehlers. Niederreiter would increase the lead to 2-0 with 4 minutes and 21 seconds to go. His 13th of the year, from Schmidt and Stanley. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 2-0 in favor for the Jets. Brian Rust would cut the deficit to 2-1 with just under 6 minutes to go, 5 minutes and 52 seconds to be exact. His 13th of the year, from Erik Karlsson and Ryan Graves. There was no scoring for the rest of the period or in the third, so 2-1 would be the final score in favor of the Jets. So with that, Winnipeg is sitting at 31-14-5. They're currently sitting third in that Central Division, while the Pittsburgh Penguins, after the loss, are 23-19-7, and it's looking quite vague for them to try to crawl back into a playoff spot this late in the season. All right, just 2 more games to review from Saturday. The first of the 2, took place in Nashville, and they played host to the Arizona Coyotes. Okay, let's take a look and see how this game unfolded. So in the first, Ryan O'Reilly would kick things off for the Nashville Predators, getting his 18th of the year from Forsberg and Nyquist with 7 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. Dermott would tie the game up with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go, his 2nd of the year from Zucker and Kerfoot. So after 20 minutes of play, we're all knotted up at 1. Ryan Josi would increase the lead to 2-1 with a power play goal in the second period with 8 minutes and 21 seconds to go, his 11th of the season, assisted by Tyson Barrie. Gunther, I believe, would tie the game up late in that second period for the Arizona Coyotes, getting his 4th of the year from Clayton Keller and Jason Zucker. And that would be a power play goal with 1 minute and 29 seconds remaining in that frame. So after 40 minutes of play, I should say, we're all tied up at 2. Valimaki would give the Arizona Coyotes a 3-2 lead, getting his 2nd of the season from Gunter and Hayton. That would be his 2nd of the year. Schmaltz would increase the lead to 4-2, getting a power play goal of his own, 4 minutes and 7 seconds into that frame, his 14th of the year from Zucker and Clayton Keller. Novak would get a power play goal for the Nashville Predators, exactly 6 minutes in that period, his 9th of the season from Ryan McDonough and Evangelista. Philip Forsberg would tie the game up halfway through that period, getting his 25th of the year from Ryan O'Reilly and Ryan Josi. So an onslaught of goals, to say the least. We would need extra time in this one, and in the overtime, Ryan McDonough would get the game-winning goal, only his 2nd of the season, assisted by Novak and Gustav Nyquist. So 5-4 would be the final score in favor of Nashville. With the victory, they're 27-23-2. They're close to a playoff spot, we'll put it that way. They're only a point or 2 behind. And for the Arizona Coyotes, they're 23-23-4. And we'll see if they're able to make any type of push, but they are currently sitting on the outside, looking in when it comes to the postseason action. All right, the last game from Saturday took place in Los Angeles, where we had the Los Angeles Kings, and they played host to the Edmonton Oilers. So we'll take a look and see how this game unfolded. So there's no scoring in the first. We have to jump ahead to the second period, where Pierre-Luc Dubois would open things up with a power play goal, his 11th of the season from Spence and Trevor Moore, 2 minutes and 38 seconds into that frame. Less than a minute after that, Trevor Lewis would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his 7th of the year, assisted by Byfield. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 2-0 in favor of LA. In the third period, Byfield would get a goal of his own, his 15th of the year from Garakov and Matt Roy, 7 minutes and 6 seconds into that frame. And then with just under 3 minutes remaining, 2 minutes and 42 seconds to be exact, Quentin Byfield would get his second goal of the season, the 16th of the year from Anze Kopitar and Kempe. So 4-0 would be the final score in favor of the Kings. With that, the Kings are sitting at 24, 15, and 10. They do have a wild card position as we speak. And despite the loss, the Oilers are still sitting third in that Pacific Division with a record of 30, 17, and 1. All right, that takes care of my recap from Saturday. I will, like I said, have more videos uploaded to talk about the other ones that I had missed. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, take care.